If you're thinking about moving to Washington, D.C. in 2026, there are 7 things that you need to know. 7 might sound like a lot, but just wait until you see what DC buyers discover too late. We're talking parking spots that cost as much as luxury cars, closing taxes that erase down payments entirely, and renovation timelines that double your housing costs. Today, I'm breaking down exactly what you need to know before you make this move. So, let's dive in. Number 1, the real estate market and affordability in 2026. What if I told you that your dream home in DC could suddenly become $70,000 more affordable without a price drop? That's exactly what Fannie Mae's September 2025 forecast predicts, as mortgage rates shift from 6.4% to 5.9% by the end of 2026. A 1 percentage point drop in mortgage rates increases your buying power by about 10%. Let's put that in real numbers. The median home price in DC right now is $675,000. At today's rates, if you put 20% down, you're looking at a monthly payment of around $3,425. But with rates dropping next year, that same payment will get you a $743,000 home. That's nearly $70,000 in additional buying power. Pretty wild, right? This is why timing matters so much in real estate. Look, we need to talk straight about taxes. DC offers significant first-time home buyer incentives that can drastically reduce your closing costs. Washington, D.C.'s market is showing signs of becoming more buyer-friendly. Homes are sitting on the market for 69 days on average, up from 55 days last year. That means you'll have more time to make decisions and potentially more room to negotiate. And when we get to the historic preservation later, I'll show you exactly how you can use this extended market time in your negotiations with sellers who've been stuck in a permitting process for months. Now, I need to be straight with you about housing inventory in DC. If you're picturing a single-family home with a yard in the heart of the city, think again. The housing stock in central DC is mostly condominiums and row homes. Single-family homes with yards are mainly in the outer neighborhoods or suburbs. The price per square foot is actually down about 5.9%. This tells me that people are buying larger properties, probably because remote work is still affecting housing decisions. Let me show you what this market looks like in real terms. If you're moving here with a household income of $150,000, which is common for professionals in DC, you're looking at homes in a $450,000 to $600,000 range. That might get you a 2-bedroom condo in popular neighborhoods like Navy Yard, or a row home that needs work in an up-and-coming area like Petworth or Brookline. This shift towards a more buyer-friendly market creates a perfect opening for 2026 moves, especially with those mortgage rates drops ahead. Understanding this timing could save you tens of thousands of dollars while giving you more negotiation power than buyers have had in years. Number 2, major development projects reshaping the city. Stand at the Southwest waterfront today and you're seeing the largest planned unit development in DC history. The transformation is so complete that maps from just 5 years ago feel outdated. The DC landscape is changing dramatically, creating entirely new neighborhoods that weren't even options a few years ago. 2 massive development projects are completely transforming waterfront areas of the city. First, there's the Wharf. The second and final phase of this $3.6 billion development on the Southwest waterfront was completed in 2022. But its impact on the surrounding area keeps growing. We're not talking about ordinary development here. You're looking at the most ambitious planned unit development DC has ever seen. Phase 2 added over 575,000 square feet of office space, 255 apartments, 96 condos, a hotel with 131 rooms, plus restaurants and retail. Well beyond modest impact, the real transformation has turned Southwest DC from an overlooked area into one of the most vibrant parts of the city. You might be wondering how these massive developments affect property taxes in established neighborhoods. That's something I'll break down when we get to hidden costs, and the numbers will surprise you. Then there's the Hill East project, which is transforming 67 acres near the Stadium Armory Metro Station into a new riverfront community. Phase 1 is already complete with hundreds of residential units and retail space. Phase 2 is a $564 million development that's currently in planning stages. When completed, it'll add nearly 1.2 million square feet of mixed income housing, retail, and hospitality. Wait until you see what this means for buyers. These massive projects are creating entirely new options for living in a city, often at price points that are slightly more accessible than established neighborhoods. And they typically come with modern amenities like fitness centers, rooftop pools, and concierge services that older buildings can't match. These developments are fundamentally reshaping the city's gravity centers, creating entirely new lifestyle hubs that combine waterfront living with urban convenience. For buyers willing to pioneer these evolving areas, the opportunity for appreciation as these neighborhoods mature can outpace more established parts of the city. Number 3. Transportation, the metro system in 2026. Ever wonder what a city designed before cars looked like in the 21st century? Well, that's DC. Your most valuable transportation asset might not be a vehicle, but proximity to a metro station. One of the biggest surprises for people moving to DC is realizing that you don't actually need a car to live here. Washington isn't like Los Angeles or Houston. It's a city where the metro, buses, and bike share can genuinely be the primary way to get around. WMATA just overhauled our metro system. Late-night weekend service now runs until 2 a.m. Red and Silver Line trains come more frequently. And trust me, that late-night service matters when you're enjoying DC's restaurant scene on a Saturday. But here's what you really need to know. There are still ongoing capital projects that will impact the commute in 2026. For example, the escalator replacement at the Navy Yard Station's Half Street entrance is scheduled to last until March 2026. If you're looking at properties in that area, factor this into your decision. Now, let me be completely honest about something. If you do decide to bring a car to DC, you need to understand the true cost. Forget mere convenience concerns. Parking represents a major financial investment that will significantly impact the bottom line. And this leads us directly to point number 4. Beyond simple transportation options, DC's infrastructure serves as a fundamental value driver for properties. Homes within a quarter mile of metro stations command significant premiums, while areas relying on buses or cars often offer better value for budget-conscious buyers willing to trade some convenience for square footage. Number 4. The hidden costs of homeownership in DC. Would you believe a parking spot could cost you as much as a luxury car? In DC, that's not an exaggeration. There are several substantial costs of living in the DC that most buyers don't factor into their budget until after they've moved here. Let me walk you through the biggest one. As I already said, first up is parking. A needed parking spot with a condominium can add $30,000, $40,000 to the total cost. If you're renting a spot, monthly garage parking runs between $140 to $230 a month. Street parking is heavily enforced with meters running at $2.30 per hour in most areas. Second is DC's transfer and recordation taxes. DC has some of the highest transfer and recordation taxes in the region. The tax comes at 2.9% for properties over $400,000, and half of that is usually paid by the seller. So on a $675,000 home, that's nearly $20,000 in taxes alone. The property tax difference across neighborhoods can be just as dramatic as the cultural differences. This is particularly important if you're deciding between similar properties in different areas. But here's what really matters. There's a significant incentive for first-time homebuyers. So if you qualify, the recordation tax drops from 1.45% to just 0.725%. On that same $675,000 home, that's a savings of half. This is why working with someone who understands these nuances is so important. And here's what most buyers miss. There's a little-known loophole that can eliminate nearly all of the tax burden if you structure your purchase correctly. I'll explain exactly how that works in just a minute. Beyond taxes and parking, factor in higher utilities, especially in summer when humidity drives up cooling costs, and potentially higher insurance rates depending on where you're moving from. Far more than the typical home purchase costs, these expenses fundamentally alter your monthly carrying costs and long-term financial calculations. Smart buyers account for these expenses up front, avoiding the sticker shock that comes when you first get the tax bill or when you realize street parking is a daily battle you'd rather not fight. Number 5. Historic preservation and renovation timelines. A friend of mine lost $28,000 in double housing costs when their 6-month renovation turned into a 14-month of bureaucratic delays, all because he bought in a historic district without understanding DC's preservation rules. Many of DC's iconic row homes are located in historic districts, which means renovations are subject to review by the Historic Preservation Review Board. This process, while important for maintaining the city's character, can add significant time and complexity to renovation projects. Let me be straight. You're buying a fixer-upper in a historic district, a whole home remodel could take anywhere from 6 to 18 months for construction alone. And that doesn't include the planning and approval phases, which can add several more months. Let me give you an example. Say there is a buyer who purchases a property in Logan Circle for $1.3 million when the rate is 6.5%. They're negotiating a market where inventory is up, so they get the seller to cover $15,000 of closing costs. 6 months later, when the rate drops to 5.5%, they refinance, saving $700 a month. That's the kind of opportunity smart buyers are finding while others hesitate. Now, is it worth it? Absolutely. These historic properties have incredible character, solid construction, and tend to hold their value extremely well. But you need to go into it with realistic expectations about timelines and complexities. Understanding these preservation requirements isn't just about patience, it's about financial planning. Extended timelines mean longer periods of double housing costs if you can't live in a property during renovations. Your contractor costs have risen significantly for projects requiring specialized historic preservation expertise. Plan accordingly, and you'll end up with a uniquely valuable property that simply can't be replicated in your development. Number 6. Neighborhood trade-offs. Navy Yard's high-rise condos and Brooklyn's detached homes with yards exist in the same city, but might as well be in different states. Their lifestyle differences are that dramatic. The truth few people realize is that DC neighborhoods differ dramatically by housing stock and walkability, not just cultural elements. Submarkets like Navy Yard, Brooklyn, and Petworth vary dramatically by housing stock and walkability. Navy Yard is dominated by newer high-rise condos with amenities like rooftop pools and fitness centers. It's highly walkable with restaurants and retail, but you'll pay a premium for that convenience. And there's almost no single-family housing. Brooklyn offers more space and a mix of detached homes and row houses at more moderate prices, but with fewer walkable amenities and more of a residential feel. Petworth has seen significant revitalization and offers primarily row houses with small yards, with improving walkability and dining options. If you're a young professional valuing walkability and nightlife, Navy Yard's premium pricing might be worth every penny for your lifestyle. But if you're a growing family needing more space with occasional urban access, Brooklyn could save you $200,000 while still providing the DC experience hereafter. The trade-off is clear: convenience and walkability versus space and affordability. Understanding these trade-offs is essential before you commit to a location, because moving between neighborhoods in DC can be costly due to our next factor. These neighborhood distinctions create entirely different living experiences within the same city. Your choice extends far beyond the property itself. It's about selecting your daily lifestyle. Do you value rolling out of bed and walking to a coffee shop, or is having space for a garden more important? There's no universally best neighborhood in DC, only the one that aligns with your specific priorities. Number 7. Local taxes and fees. That $640,000 home you're considering could cost you an extra $18,560 at closing just in the recordation taxes. That's more than many buyers' entire down payment elsewhere in the country. Here's something that catches many buyers by surprise. DC has significantly higher recordation and transfer taxes compared to nearby Virginia or Maryland, and this can dramatically change your overall affordability. In DC, the recordation tax paid by the buyer and seller is 2.9% for properties over $400,000. On a $640,000 home, that's $18,000. By comparison, in nearby Montgomery County, Maryland, the combined transfer and recordation tax is 2.5%, which would save thousands of dollars. There is good news for first-time home buyers, though. DC offers a reduced recordation tax rate of just 0.725% for qualifying first-time home buyers. On that same $640,000 home, that's a savings of about $14,000. This is why understanding these local tax nuances is so important. DC property tax rate is actually lower than many surrounding areas at 85 cents per $100 of assessed value, but assessments tend to be higher, especially in rapidly appreciated neighborhoods. So, there you have it. The 2026 DC opportunity extends well beyond mortgage rates dropping below 6%. What truly matters is knowing which neighborhoods will see the highest appreciation when they do. Buyers who understand these 7 factors will save a huge amount of money on recordation taxes and parking costs, while potentially gaining hundreds of thousands in equity within 5 years. Ready to make your 2026 move a success instead of costly mistake? Email me at hello@coalitionpg.com or call the number below. As a DC specialist who's helped hundreds navigate this unique market's complexity, I'll ensure you avoid the permitting nightmares, tax surprises, and renovation headaches that derail unprepared buyers. From historic district secrets to neighborhood-specific strategies, I provide insight you won't find elsewhere. And if you're wondering whether real explosive growth is happening just outside of DC, this next video reveals the 6 suburbs set to absolutely explode for 2026. I'm talking Amazon bringing 25,000 jobs to Arlington, biotech booms in Rockville, and developments where smart money has been quietly moving for years. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.